Okay, we are now streaming on Facebook and YouTube. I'm going to turn it over to Chairman Whitley.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the meeting of the Audit Committee of the Public Building Commission of Chicago, being held today, June 30th, 2022 at 3:10 p.m. Today's meeting is being conducted by a video conference and is being live streamed as well. You can access this information on the agency's website at ppcchicago.com. Director Sanchez, I'm asking you now to please call the roll.
Thank you, Chairman Whitley, and good afternoon to everybody. Hope everyone's getting ready for a wonderful holiday weekend. I just wanted to provide a reminder that as we begin our meeting, to please keep your microphones muted when you are not speaking. But for roll call, please make sure that you are unmuted, and that way I can get your answer when I call the roll. Chairman Whitley.
Present.
Commissioner Randall.
Here.
Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you so much, Director Sanchez. The first item on the agenda this afternoon is the approval of the Audit Committee meeting. And at this time, we're asking for it to be moved.
I move to approve the minutes from July 1st.
Thank you, Commissioner Randall. Motion has been approved. The next item on the agenda is public participation in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. Registered speakers will be allowed 2 minutes. Is there any public participation at this time?
There are no public speakers, Chairman.
Thank you so much. The next item on our agenda is the report of the PBC's Director of Finance, Tanya Foucher Weekly. And we will, at this time, hear her report. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Today, I am bringing forth Public Building Commission Chicago's draft CAFR for fiscal years ended 2021 and 2022. We anticipate submission of the final CAFR to the GFOA after the July board's meeting on or around July 18th. For the 2021 fiscal year, PBC continued their relationship with the external auditors of Deloitte, who will provide an update after this report. Their team worked assiduously with our finance team to prepare this document, which is intended to provide information regarding the financial position of the PBC. The report is prepared in accordance with the United States GAAP principles and meets all of the requirements for the state of Illinois. We believe this report to be accurate in all material respects and to be presented in a fairly set forth way of what our financial position and results of our operations of the organization are at the current time. At this time, if you can turn to page 5 and 6 on the summary of the condensed financial report that you received. So this is where I will start talking about our current financial position. For the 3-year period of 2019 through 2021, the total assets of the commission have decreased from $234.7 million to $205 million, which is approximately a $29.6 million decrease. The primary decrease in our total assets is the reduction of the commission's investments brought on by the sustained effects of the pandemic, as well as the maturity of the CPS revenue bonds that we have been holding for the past 30 years. For the same 3-year period, our total liabilities have also decreased from approximately $162.2 million to $136.3 million, which is approximately $25.8 million. Largely, this is also due to the same measures, but in addition to the projected related payables, which align with the maturity of our current project portfolio. The assets of the commission exceeded liabilities by approximately $69 million at December 31st, 2021. Of this amount, 51 million was included in net investment in capital assets, and 18 million was restricted for use by the Daily Center and for commission operations. The commission's total net position decreased by 1.5 million and 2 million respectively for the years ended December 31st, 2021 and 2020. The decreases in net positions directly relate to the other income and our investments over these past 3 years. The lack of investment income to offset our current year's interest expenses continues to be the primary effect of a reduction in our net position. Our operating revenues for the years ended December 31st, 2021 and 2020 were 120.9 million and 274.9 million respectively. The operating expenses were 120.4 million and 274.9 million for the same period. Both fluctuate based on the volume of construction activity, as operating revenue includes project revenue, which is recognized to the extent of the current operating costs. For the year ended December 31st, 2021, there has been drastic decreases in revenues and expenses in comparison to our 2020 year, principally powered by a mature project portfolio and long-term influences of the pandemic on project transfers between the PBC and other government agencies. In 2021, the PBC completed the complex and detailed process of designing and constructing two public facilities: a state-of-the-art public school for CPS, and a dome to cover a previously exposed pile of road salt for the city of Chicago. The commission's fiscal management still continues to demonstrate how the PBC remains committed to the stewardship of public funds through exemplary costs and schedule control. Accordingly, our administrative expenses have decreased over the periods 2021 and 2022 to right-size our organization based on the current project levels. We will continue to work towards maintaining our streamline of correctly cost-fitting our expenses with our revenues. In conclusion, I want to personally thank our team here at the PBC as well as Deloitte on helping us to complete and be ready for this presentation today. That concludes my report, Commissioner.
Thank you so much, Ms. Weekley, and I do apologize if I butchered that name. Weekley.
I think you just give it a little extra French to it, but it's okay.
Okay.
I'll take
Thank
it.
you. Thank you. Is there a motion? Great report, by the way. Great report. Motion to accept the report provided by our Director of Finance.
Yep. Sorry, I had to get off mute there. Move to approve. Move to accept the report.
Randall, the report is accepted. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. The next item on the agenda is the report by Alan Truesdale of Deloitte and Touche LLP. We're in your hands, sir. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Fantastic. Can everyone see the screen that Juliana is sharing currently?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So thank you, Chairman Whitley. Good afternoon, everyone. Great to see everyone's face. Thanks for having us. Thank you to both management and the commissioners. If you could turn to page 4, Juliana, for everyone's benefit. I wanted to start today just with quick introductions. I know that I know everybody on the call here and they know me, but given that we are live streaming this, I thought I would do a quick introduction and ask Juliana to do the same. I'm Alan Truesdale. I'm your lead client service partner from Deloitte. I'm an audit partner here in our Chicago Deloitte office, and I've been with Deloitte for about 28 years, focusing in the public sector practice. I also wear a hat as the U.S. public sector industry leader for our firm, and I've been serving the PBC in various capacities over the years, and just really happy to be back. Juliana, if you could, you want to provide a quick introduction, please?
Of course. Hello, everyone. My name is Juliana Salas. I have been with Deloitte for 7 years. I am a manager on this engagement, and it is my 4th year on the Public Building Commission audit. Happy to be back and happy to see everyone again.
Thanks, Juliana. So I do want to acknowledge on this slide our joint audit team partners, our subcontracting firms with us, Washington, Pittman, McKeever, and Velma Butler. They've been with the team for quite some time now. We've got a good commitment to the PBC with our MBE, WBE participation at nearly 40%. And, I just wanted to, as I look at the screen, the team is executing virtually now for a 3rd year in a row. We do have the fortune of bringing back substantial continuity. Everybody on here, with the exception of one of our seniors who we're always trying to train and develop new folks from a succession planning perspective, everyone else on here has continuity, and it's just a benefit that accrues both to the PBC team, but also to the process in terms of efficiency and effectiveness. So just wanted to mention that. Juliana, maybe we can switch to page 5 here. So here's our executive summary. The purpose again of our call this afternoon is to cover a status update for the fiscal 21 external audit. Our communications are in fact prepared in accordance with our professional standards and cover many of the topics that the commissioners are accustomed to seeing. The status and messaging for today has been covered with both Chairman Whitley as well as management in advance of the meeting. So we'll leave many of these comments as read. Now, as Tanya mentioned in her comments, the external audit is in process, but we are nearing completion. As we sit here today, we would anticipate being in a position to issue on or near the week of July 18th in about 3 weeks or so. And given the timing of today's audit committee meeting, we're providing our comments to you today as a status update. So as we get closer to the issuance timeline that week of July 18th, Commissioner Whitley, I just wanted to make the commitment to you that I can, make a connection point with you and update you on the close of our audit to reconfirm these communications prior to issuance. I do want to acknowledge the hard work of Tanya and her team, as well as Juliana and her team. Again, we are executing virtually for yet another year, but we do seem to have that process down and running. Given management's planned submission in July, I think I would say that we're on track, potentially even ahead of schedule. And I can't believe I said that on a live stream at this point, but I currently see no concerns with us filing timely in accordance with management's plan. And really that's a testament to the quality of the books and records that we're getting from Tanya and the team. So thank you. Lastly, on page 5, lower right-hand corner, there's just a box here on GASB pronouncements. We will highlight the implementation. There were 2 standards implemented in the current year, neither of which had an impact on the financial statements. And there's a technical update. We'll talk about the on the horizon standards. Next year, we finally have the lease standard coming up, which is kind of a long and awaited standard that the GASB delayed given the pandemic, but is now due for implementation next year. So we will have more than our standard or vanilla communications for the committee next year. Juliana, why don't you move forward to page 7? You can cover at a high level the status to date of our audit area of audit emphasis, as well as some of our high level communications.
Thank you, Alan. So as Alan mentioned, we're moving on to sharing the areas of audit emphasis with you. We are required by the AICPA to consider the potential of fraud in a financial statement audit. And this leads us to our presumed significant risk. This risk of management override is a significant risk for all entities and not specific just to the Public Building Commission. In order to address this risk, we've had several fraud discussions with members of management. We continue to evaluate estimates for potential bias, and we continue to evaluate significant transactions. But I'm pleased to say we have noted no significant or unusual transactions in the course of our audit to date. We also evaluate the design and implementation of controls over the financial close and reporting process. And so far, we have found controls to be soundly in place. We evaluate journal entries with characteristics of audit interests, which we identify using our audit innovation tool, Cortex. Which brings us to this next slide, where the key here is just that by implementing Cortex to evaluate the population of journal entries, we're able to focus on individual entries that show characteristics of audit interest after reconciling the population of data to the trial balance. But we can dive deeper than that and derive insights from the population as a whole. So we can see, for example, accounts with the most postings throughout the year, which this year included cash, and determine that the population of entries follows Benford's law. So now we will move on to the required communications. As part of these communications, we affirm that Deloitte is independent with respect to the PBC. And we reaffirm that our responsibility under auditing standards is to provide reasonable assurance that the financial statements are not materially misstated. The financial statements themselves are, of course, the responsibility of management. We also evaluate controls to the extent necessary to perform the audit, but we do not issue an opinion on internal controls. The significant practices and policies as set forth in Note 1 to the financial statements have not changed from the previous year. So for the Public Building Commission, we believe those include depreciation, the valuation of investments, and other revenue project development fees. We believe the financial statement drafts presented to date are presented fairly and in accordance with GAAP. And during the audit, we were not made aware of any significant unusual transactions or alternative accounting treatments. I have here in the slide in front of you, several other required communications that basically sum up to say that the audit is going very well and that we have had full cooperation from Tanya and her team. Even in this third year in the remote work environment, Tanya has been fantastic to work with and has been getting us everything we need to complete the audit well and by the target issuance date. So as Alan stated, we have encountered no difficulties and are on track for issuance. Finally, in this section, we have provided written communications, including the engagement letter and the required planning communications, and we will provide the representation letter upon the target issuance date. Now, Alan will talk about control matters.
That's the next slide. Absolutely. Okay, good. So this is just a reminder of the definitions of the various control considerations. Should we identify a control concern, we would bring it up on this page. We don't have any material weaknesses to report. We don't have any control deficiencies that we are believe rise to the level of governance. So that's a good news message. We don't have anything. You can focus on the conclusion on the bottom of this page. We have nothing to date in process of the audit. Julianne, I think there's a quick technical update just to give the commissioners and management a sense of what's on the horizon here.
That is correct. So as Alan stated, GASB 89 and GASB 98, which you see as implemented in the current year, did not have a material impact to the commission's financial statements. However, on the horizon, the main upcoming standard will be GASB 87, which addresses leases, and whose required implementation will be fiscal year 2022. The remaining standards we do not anticipate will have a significant impact.
So maybe we could go to slide 21, Juliana, the next slide. Okay, so if folks recall last year, we talked a little bit about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I mentioned to you that Deloitte had released our first ever transparency report. And that report shares the composition of our workforce, our talent life cycle. We've provided a link to that report in these materials. Again, the objective is to share our data, share our future goals, our commitments, and really increase the sense of hope and trust and accountability to the public. And I had made the commitment last year to come back to you with updates as we would like to share our successes and how we view our role within the DEI world. And so We do not have the second report out as of date, but in our next committee meeting, it's very possible that that will be released for public consumption, at which point I'll have an update for you. I would like to keep this here as a placeholder, if you will, going forward so that the committee can engage on this topic. And then the next and last appendix is just the typical Deloitte resources that we provide as leave behind materials, both for management and the commissioners. There's a lot regarding the tools that management can access, such as our accounting research tool, or even resources for the commissioners, such as education, networking events, things of that nature. So I know that might be a long-winded status update as of June 30th for you, but overall, the takeaway message is that we're on track here and don't see any issue with issuing in accordance with management's plan by the week of July 18th. And Commissioner Whitley, that would conclude our comments.
Thank you, sir. Excellent report. Is there a motion to accept the report provided by Deloitte?
I move to accept the report.
Commissioner Sachs, are you there?
Sounds like Commissioner
Thank you,
Whitley.
sir.
Internet has, oh, there you go.
Well, is there a motion? I'm sorry, to adjourn? Yes.
Oh, so moved.
Commissioner Randall.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
move to accept the report. Okay, I'm sorry if you didn't hear me. Yeah.
No, I received the acceptance, and it has been accepted. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Commissioner Whitley, I'm sorry, I just want the record to reflect that Commissioner Sachs is present.
I did. I looked like I heard somebody trying to speak, and so Commissioner Sachs, welcome. Thank you, sir, for being in our meeting.
Commissioner Sachs,
All right.
we're still unable to hear you, but we will have the link available. I think there's just a little lag from Chairman Whitley, but he did make the motion to adjourn. It was seconded by Commissioner Randall. So
all right, thank you all.
we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Take care. Happy 4th of July.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you all.
Everyone.
Thank you. Happy.
Yes, happy 4th, everyone. Happy barbecue day.
Happy.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you all.